Hello and welcome to the channel Northworthy Sagas and Stories. Now today I'll be reading your comments. I'm using my old phone. We've not done this for a while, so in this video you're going to have a chance of your comment being read out. And if you don't want your comment ever being read out, just put on the comment at the end, please don't read this out, Craggy, because I made her in the future. And it's a good way to interact with our audience. And people in the past used to love this feature on the channel when me and Eggle used to read out comments. So let's go and look at some of the comments. You bear with me whilst I find the first one. So we've got the first comment from THC Grey Wolf. The T-shape is a carpentry tool, not a combat axe, right? Well, yes, fundamentally so. The Tshape Axe is for carpentry. It's for going alongside of plank and making planks and various other things you could do with the Tshape Axe. So yes, it's not a combat axe. It's not like one of these which you'll definitely choose to go into battle with. But if you're old, there you are, old Iric, and you don't have one of these axes, and you don't have a spear, and you're a bit of a woodworker in as a job, and you can't afford any other weapon. You may have a sea axe. If you're a free man, you probably would have one of them. But if the only second choice of a weapon other than a shield is a good old T-shape axe, then you're going to definitely use it. But it would be used by the poorer class Vikings, I'll try to put that back, rather than those Saxons or Vikings that had coin. Because if you had coin, then you could probably afford a spear, and you could probably afford to have a lance axe, and if you're really rich, like me, you could have a Viking sword. So yes, it's primarily a tool. And then we got Urho2967, who says, Frank axe, please. And that is in relation to one of the videos where I get two weapons, like I could say, in this video, which of these two weapons would you prefer? The lance axe or the good old Viking axe. So in that video and comment, he preferred to have the Frank axe. And we got a comment here from Lost Word 23. Hi, thanks for the video. Music is still too loud to the end of the video. I can't hear your storytelling. Well, that is in a video which is not actually by me talking. It's a AI video, which I'm trying to limit those videos. In fact, I'm even thinking about not using the audio and actually just doing my own narration to those videos. Instead, it might just be a bit better. And it's not difficult these days to get your phone and write a script on your phone using AI, but you do have to check it for mistakes. And it did make one mistake yesterday because I think it got the name and the date of the battle slightly wrong. But I'm experimenting that, and whether that video will stay up, I don't know. But I am at the moment going through some of Tirkir Thorkel's videos, and I'm going to republish quite a few of them over the next couple of months, simply because in those videos when we first started, we got too much fluff at the beginning where we're going, oh, welcome to Northworthy, please, go and subscribe, and asking people to do things when you shouldn't be doing that, because that's just dead space. It's the same with the end of your video as well, when you ask for your call for action. So I'm basically cutting out all of that BS in the videos, what we don't fundamentally need. Not that I'm saying it's rubbish. Those videos were great back in the day, but YouTube has changed, so I just think it's important that we try to get away from this and we get straight into the video, straight into the hook of the video, what the video is about, if we can, and tell the story. So I'll be publishing quite a few of those videos, and also with the ability to reduce the wind noise from outside using the YouTube Creator app. I can improve those videos with sound quality. So I may publish the first one tonight if I make a thumbnail in time of Forseti and the Wise Men of the Frisians. And we got the Herald Death Watch. The Herald Death Watch says T-shape definitely. Yes, definitely. And Hatman4476 says laughs out loud. And we got Blind Luck 3403. So hello to you guys. Thank you for commenting. Axe easy to swing, less weight, and you can do more damage. And I do agree. Yes, I do have less weight to them, and they are easier to manage. And especially like me at the moment, when you're suffering from tennis elbow, it's definitely a lot easier to use. And we've got a comment here from Story Archive. Cool little story. Thank you very much. And Colin Nicolazzo 2065 says the Frankish one, so yes. And we've got Bubblegum Warrior 6731 says the spear isn't a prop. There are numerous stories and moments in history with spears and javelins, harpoons, halberd. No hate or anything like that. It's just that claiming a spear to be a prop and saying it's history told in a funny way is a bit misleading, considering archaeologists have found multitudes of different ancient weapons and spears are pretty common as well as sword. And isn't the Spartan culture mostly known for using spears? Well, I do believe that is, but that is one of those TikTok videos, and the reason why sometimes when I do TikTok videos I call them props is basically because TikTok does not like weapon videos, and if you don't demonstrate that this is a prop, a blunt weapon for display use, especially if you do a TikTok video, if you do this in a TikTok video and run your fingers down the blade like this, they're going to remove your video. So that is the reason why I sometimes call them props. I don't tend to call them props if I'm making a video direct for YouTube, but I just try to be careful because I don't want all the work I've done on TikTok, on all the videos available on TikTok, to be deleted because the fact that I didn't call a weapon a prop. So that is fundamentally the reason. That's one of those TikTok videos that has just migrated from TikTok to YouTube. And then Sam Stapleton 3739 says, you truly do the Vikings justice, sir. And that is on the Viking Flog 37. And a very recent flog. I'm trying to restart the flog series. Although I do realise that we do have 2 37s when it came to the flog, because we've already done 37. But at some point in the past when we did the flog series, we missed a flog, which I think was flog 29, but I can't be certain. So I've got to get the older flogs and just go back and renumber them, even though the video I'll be calling flog 37, 36. I just want to try to get that balanced out in the playlist. And do you guys actually watch our playlists and listen to them? Because we do have some fantastic playlists, but how useful are playlists when it comes to YouTube? I don't know. I know that according to vidIQ, they have lots of playlists like myself, but a lot of people don't watch playlists. So whether they're a bit of a dead feature. And there is a new feature coming to YouTube very soon called courses. And you can basically create a course. We could do this with the Runic videos from Eggle and charge people to watch, and I'm a bit dubious about that because I kind of don't want to go down the route of charging people. So we got the Jester of Spades 3903, so it's the Frankish one. Oh yes, great choice. And Mickle Short 9150, and I do apologise if I get your name wrong because I'm not wearing my glasses. Says OMG, yes, that would make the perfect sign of my status as a free man. And he'll be no doubt talking about an axe or a Langsax or something really similar to that. And we got Stephen Fitzgerald 9769 in the comments says, much as I love anything from Gotland, I have to go with the old Frankish model. Reach even half inch counts for a lot. And this is comparing 2 Langsaxes, the Gotland one, and to one of the Frankish ones, Merovingian, I believe. And the Merovingian is about 2 inches longer. And they're basically saying in that video, in the comment, that the reach is so important. And it's true. If you've got a Langsax like this one here, and you could choose another Langsax which is slightly longer, then you're going to choose the longer one, because that reach in the battle when you're going over the shield wall will make a difference and could fundamentally keep you alive. So cool comment. And we've got Earthquake Magoon 2505, who's an old subscriber to the channel. If Braggy or Eggle have gas, then yes, shield is very necessary. Oh yes, especially if I have 9 pints of bitter, and for the next couple of days I'm very gassy and can't stop farting like a trooper. And Hatman 4476 says the second one in relation to Viking sword versus Anglo-Norman sword. Who reigns supreme? And Jorvik Vikinga says, enjoyed the tale. Well, thank you very much. We do have a lot of wonderful folk tales on the channel. And Jarl Drigavi says, do you have any advice for bolts with just a big metal ring? I am unsure how to secure it properly. Well, I did explain that in a comment to you. If you've got a bolt and it doesn't have a buckle and it's got a ring, basically you push the bolt through the ring and then you put it around the back of the bolt and then you've got a bit of a loop between your bolt, what's on your waist, and the bit that's looped over, and you just push it through and tighten it up. Of course, ideally, if you've got two metal loops, you could basically feed them through the metal loops and put one through the other metal loop, so it's creating friction, and then loop it round. I think if I can demonstrate this on camera, I will do. I don't really own any bolts with metal loops on the end because I've always gone down the route of having a buckle, and you'd be surprised when you go to charter shops or thrift stores, you look at the bolt section, you will sometimes find nice brass buckles, and they will be suitable for the Viking era. So I always recommend a good buckle because you can't go wrong with a buckle. Don't know why I'm going to point to the camera then. So we've got here from Addicted to Treasure and Trash. Oh no, Addicted to Treasure Trash 108 says, nice story, but there were never any longhouses in the lands that the White Christ lived. Well, I think you got that story and the interpretation of the story slightly wrong, and perhaps I should have been a bit more clear in the tale that tale was actually set in England and not set in the Middle East, because no, they don't have longhouses in the Middle East. I don't know what they'll call the houses in the Middle East, because they're not from there. But it's one of those funny stories about Jesus when he came to England back in the medieval times to have a walk about. And it's recorded in one of the many folktale books. And we've got Dutch RH 4 foot says, great video, man, with a shield emoji. Oh, yes, thank you very much. And we've got Trooper 7245 shield, and he spelled it CHIYOOD. And I think that's a very interesting way of spelling shield. And we've got Drunk Fenton Callahan, amazing. I love it very much, well thank you. And one of the things that does keep me going on this channel are your comments, and it's a great way for you to interact with the channel and to take part and be part of the channel is by leaving your comments. And of course I'm always open to suggestions, and if you've got a favourite folk tale or story you heard as a child, you want me to learn it, I could tell it to you. And we've got Lantern Lighter. This is from 3 days ago, so it's happy to see you still here posting history and culture on here. If you remember me, I was giving my condolences for Egil Thorson, rest in peace. May you keep this channel up with well-made content and great interaction with your community. Well, that's the aim of the game, is to keep going on. And yes, some days it gets a bit disheartening when you're not getting the views you think you should be getting. And I go through periods of up and down. When I'm on the top of the high, I'm like on top of the mountain, like I'm on top of Everest. And when I'm feeling a bit down, I'm in the deepest, darkest cave you can probably get to. And then I go back up again. Which I wasn't feeling very good yesterday when it came to my mental health. But these are aspects of life. And let's face it, you only got to put the news on for a few minutes and see the dire situation the world's in. And the dire situation the UK's in, it can be disheartening. But as always, I often say to people, just keep battling on, because tomorrow's another day and you will feel better, you will feel better, and just keep persevering and battling on. And Observation of Limits says, never really heard pommels were a counterbalance, considering they're often not large. No, they're not always very large, but more of a grip security, so the haft cannot slide forward out your hands. Well, I think it would be interesting to have a sword without a pommel on and see how it differs in the battle, in the fight, because I think it would do. I think you do need a good pommel, and it is a counterbalance, and it's a part of the way the sword works. And of course, it stops your hand from sliding off. If you don't have a pommel on your sword, you're going to be using your sword and it's going to fly at your hand, which is why a good lancet should always have a good grip, because if you don't have a good grip and it slides out, that's not what you want. So a good grip is very essential, and that is one of the fundamental reasons why we have a pommel. But that's an interesting thought. So we got a comment here from DJ Uneyed Berserkensen 63653. I should have worn my glasses. I'm more of a spearman myself, but I have a small bearded axe on my hip in case of someone gets close, and I think that's a great option. Yes, to go in the battle with a spear, and when you get too close up and you can't use the spear, drop your spear and go to your sidearm, because that's going to keep you alive. And when you get really close into combat in the Vikings and Saxon battles, you can't always use your spear. So you either have to step back out of the rank, which is not always a good thing. So having a sidearm is essential. And then Brett Johnson, 536. Interesting. If I knew I was going to have a fight cavalry, then I'd go with a Dane axe. But only if I'm going up against infantry, I'd probably choose a shield and bearded axe. Well, yes, a Dane axe is great for cavalry, and that is one of the reasons after the Viking Age the Dane axe will still continue to be used, because they realised that the Dane axe is one of those formidable weapons. When it came to armour, it could really split a man in half and could damage your armour quite a lot. And let's face it, if you're getting a good whack and you're wearing a breastplate or armour and it damages your armour, you're going to feel it, and it's going to take you out of the battle regardless of whether it hurts you or not, depending on what you got underneath your armour. Preferably you got a gambeson, and preferably you may have some chainmail underneath. I've not really got too much into that later period of history to have a suit of armour. That would be quite cool to have one and try one on. I'd quite welcome that. You know, anybody fancies making me a suit of armour, feel free. Hey! And of course, we all get the most massive shout out. So just move back to the next comment. I'm just going past my comments. I do try to leave a comment on all the videos and pin it. That's one of my tips. I don't always remember to do it. And if you go to the top comment what's pinned, you'll find a subscription link that will take you to the channel. So we've got Para Snufkin says, Egil is with the gods and our ancestors in Gimli. Feasting every day and getting the answers he sought in life. Rest in peace, buddy, and I thank you for your lovely, kind comment. And I'm sure all these lovely comments saying, oh, rest in peace, Egil, will really touch his family and his very close friends that do love him and miss him greatly. So we've got Samantha from Mars. It's a lovely channel, and I must go on your channel and have a little bit more. I do have a harp now. I do have an Anglo-Saxon some new harps. I think you play harps on your channel, if I recall, but I could be mistaken because I watched a lot of channels over the years. It says, nice video. Do you have a video showing how hooking the shield or the wings work of a spear? And talking about, can't really get it out, it's under my tripod. Bear with me, most unprofessional move this is ever. So talking about a wing spear. Yes, I think in either one of the short videos we did that. But if I can find somebody to do some combat with in the future, we will demonstrate that as well. So, and again, Samantha on Mars says, these helmets look amazing or awesome, and they sure do. And she left another comment, great video, you have a fantastic collection and your passion really shines through when you share these things you personally own. I noticed you might have been looking at yourself instead of the camera. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I always try to look at myself on the camera, but I do in the Viking room have two mirrors on the wall. So some days I kind of can't help but see my reflection. So whether I was doing that, I don't know. And it's always a good tip to look at the camera. And this is something I had to try to teach Egil to do. Although he was often well known for turning sideways and having a conversation with me rather than with you guys. But these are the things you learn. And it says, anyway, keep up these amazing videos. And on that point, we're going to finish this comments reading video because I've got to go and be somewhere in a few minutes. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this video. And if you've not had your comment read out in this video, then we'll try to continue in the future and film some more of these videos, because I think they're just a really good way to interact with the audience. And if you ever stuck for an idea, what I'm going to do today for a video, I'll just read some comments, because people really love that. I've got to turn my alarm off. So yes, so there's a couple of things you could do. You could share the video and you could share our content, and if you're not subscribed, then please subscribe. Hit the old shield and bow thing on the old thing. They could convert it and have a shield or something like that for us Vikings on YouTube, so we're not hitting the bow, we're smashing the shield. But never mind. And until the next time we meet again, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye as I drink my cup of tea. Goodbye.